question is, here in Conscience Land, how do we move from market world to Conscience Land? We have to do it. We have to do it really quickly, very rapidly. We are not in a position where we have time to waste. We don't have time to waste. Young people are on the streets. Protesters are on the streets. Countries, entire continents are burning. Not the whole continent, but parts of the continent and different continents. Africa is ablaze. We all know the story of Australia being ablaze. These are serious. Then they're not happening. They are happening, and we're doing very little about it. As individuals, what can we do? Well, I'll tell you one thought is, you're familiar with, in Conscience Land, we talk about the universal social credit system. And this is what we're developing with caring currency and the SDG token of appreciation. Pay it forward, recognize people who are part of the solution. Lift your head out of your phone, identify those who are part of the solution and working towards making the world a better place, and help them. And maybe if you can't help them directly, you can pay it forward, a token of appreciation, a SDG token of appreciation, right into their hands, right into their phone, and basically make them feel better about themselves for the sacrifice that they are making, their voluntary effort to make the world a better place. So many of us have seen, or I saw a copy or a summary of the Oscars, the American movie Oscars. And Joaquin Phoenix, in his very good, I thought, very good talk, acceptance speech, he used the first portion of it to talk about how we need to go basically to a plant-based diet, and it's essentially a justice issue, social justice, animal justice, environmental justice. These are not small things. These are huge things, and we're responsible for it. We're just one species on the planet, and we've taken it over completely to the detriment of all the other species. So I was thinking about this as he was talking, as he was giving this speech. And of course, he finished it with, "Run to the rescue with love, and peace will follow." Well, you know that in Conscience Land, LOVE spells lifestyle of voluntary effort. So think of it this way, that fantastic quote from his brother, River Phoenix, "Run to the rescue with a lifestyle of voluntary effort, and peace will follow." Peace plus one. Society, environment, economy in balance. That is Conscience Land. That's the war we're in. Why do you think I wear this uniform? This uniform is actually from the 8th Army. It's modified with an upside down triangle of buttons, but that in itself is meaningful. That is the Conscience Land, the symbol of Conscience Land, not the pyramid this way, hierarchical, centralized, but instead flipped over. And the we're at the top. The 99% is at the top, and we're responsible for the decisions that filter down to the rest of the society. But we're also necessarily part of the assembly, Citizens Assembly, Conscience Land Citizens Assembly, local, to help make those decisions that the people who previously were at the top of the pyramid were making for us. not on our council, but just because they wanted to do it that way, and it served their capitalist agenda. And I grew up in a capitalist country. We are all benefiting from a capitalist system, but is it working? Is it maintaining our planet and our lifestyle? Not lifestyle. Is it maintaining our health and our abundance and our ability to continue to be sustainably living in our communities and still have food and water and eco services? Is it doing that? And well, clearly it's not. It's not, and it's failing, and there's protests around the world, and there's movements around the world that are springing up very successfully. Extinction Rebellion is one of them. Fridays for Future is another one. Young people doing their part to bring attention to the supposed adults. I mean, there are not many adults apparently in the powers positions of power around the world. But as Greta Thunberg says, she wants people to listen to the science, not her. She's 17. Listen to the scientists that have been studying this all their lives, and they're crying out now for us to change our behaviors, to save ourselves. Not to save them, to save ourselves. We have to change our ways. So I was just realizing as I was listening to these, run to the rescue with love and peace will follow. Well, peace is what we want. We want huping jayi, peace plus one. We want that. How do we achieve it? Well, first of all, this idea of run to the rescue with love. Yes, maybe not actually run, but send love. Send the lifestyle of voluntary effort that you're voluntarily crediting universal social credit to those who are sacrificing their lives, their lifestyles, their comfort and convenience. They're sacrificing it, and you're recognizing that they're doing that. And that should make them feel good about their actions and themselves. And you should feel good about those actions and themselves. And you should feel good about what you're doing to support them. Now, that's not where it stops. That's where it begins, right? That's the universal social credit. This is very important, what I would like to share with you. Universal social credit, is what we do. We have been doing it for thousands of years. We give people credit in our lives for doing things for the community and for us directly that are beneficial to the community and to us directly. We do that. We have been doing that. We always do that. But we don't have a SDG token of appreciation to do that. We didn't have the blockchain to record it. And blockchain to record it anonymously, well, it's not actually recorded anonymously. You don't have to reveal yourself as giving the token. But actually there is an address. So it's not about anonymity. It's about the record of you appreciating someone else and their efforts, their possible sacrifice, and they are receiving something from you. They're receiving a gift, a token of appreciation. And is it worth something? Is it worth money? No, it's not worth money. What it's worth is the gift. It's the action that's worth something. So do you accumulate it? Well, there's no point in accumulating. In fact, the benefit to you is if you yourself pay it forward, pass it forward to others. Send that token of appreciation to someone else. Make that happen. How will you feel about it? Well, you should feel good because you're LOVE. You're living a lifestyle of voluntary effort, and you're voluntarily making an effort to reward others for what you perceive as to be their great and beneficial help to society, to the environment, and even to the local economy. We need a global system. This business of social credit systems, whether they're in China or elsewhere, these rating systems and dating systems and all these things, they're interesting, good, but are they really what we need? Well, one thing we need is we need a universal system. We need a universal system of recognition, like a standardized currency, right? But no one is suggesting, well, actually there are people suggesting that there be a currency, like a monetary currency that is just one currency of the world. But I don't think that's ever going to happen, quite honestly, because I think our differences and our tribal differences, and of course it would be controlled by some central group. So it would be the most powerful economy that would dictate who's using their universal currency. So I don't see that happening ever in human history. And we don't have that much left time to make these changes anyway. So that's not going to happen. But what if, as we are doing now, we create a new caring currency, which we've done. We have it. It's a physical thing. Not a physical thing. It's a real thing that is on an exchange, and it's part of the blockchain process, and it can be moved around and credited to the wallet that you download. So what if this universal social credit is actually, especially right now, is the reward for the heroes of Conscience Land? Now remember, Conscience Land is wherever you are, right? It's not about a state, not about a name, not about a border or a fence or a wall. That's not Conscience Land. Conscience Land is wherever you are. If you are conscious and caring about your own family, your own community, the things around you, the natural world, the economic world too, but not in a global scale and branding and shopping malls as much as you are concerned about your local community. That's what we want to see. That's what we want. That's what we need. We need people to be clearly supporting the people nearest to them, buying locally, buying within a region. So look at this situation with the coronavirus right now. We don't know what the actual cause is. We don't know if it's a bioweapon or if it came from bat soup. We don't know. I mean, maybe, obviously some people know, but I don't know. But what I do know is that millions of people, I think 11 million in Wuhan and another 50 million in the rest of China, are being sacrificed. They're sacrificing their convenience, their freedom, even their freedom of speech, in order to help contain this virus, this global pandemic, this terribly serious pandemic. Do they deserve recognition and credit? I think so. I think that's what we can do right now. I think we can send them all 11 million, 50 million, however many, we can, not by one person, not from a centralized source, but from a distributed base of caring people all over the world, not just in China. And we collectively acknowledge and reward those people who without concern for themselves. You know the story of Bethune, Bai Chuan de Jingxian, the spirit of Bethune, this hat and this coat. Bethune was a Canadian doctor who went to China in 1938, and he did some pretty spectacular things in China. Now, of course, he was only one guy and he did what he could, but he did a lot. And there's just some similarities even to sort of the kind of spirit, the care and focus and no bullshit way that Bethune handled the medical crisis. This was during the Chinese Civil War and the Japanese War of Aggression against China. You know, very, very, very terrible circumstances. Very terrible circumstances, and you know there was no